Alright guys, Alabama versus LSU, the big matchup, number 1 versus number 4. In this video, we're going to show you everything you need to know about the LSU Tigers. We're going to look at some statistics, we're going to look at some film, and we're going to get you everything you need to know about this upcoming matchup. Before we jump into this year's matchup, let's take a look back at some series history.
Because of the injury, as Julio Jones is matched up against a safety.
McElroy, here's Julio Jones. Gets by the safety, and he's got a chance. The chase is on, and it will be won by Julio Jones.
Alabama leads the overall series between the two with a record of 52 wins, 25 losses, and 5 ties. Alabama is currently in the middle of a 7-game win streak over the Tigers, dating back to the 2011 BCS National Title game. And while 7 consecutive wins is a lot, it is not the longest streak in series history. That record belongs to Coach Bryant's Alabama teams from 1971 to 1981, in which the Tide won 11 straight. Alabama also holds the largest margin of victory in series history, with a 44-point win over the Tigers in 1922. Now that the series history is taken care of, let's go ahead and jump into this year's matchup. Through 8 games this season, the Tigers have displayed a very balanced offensive attack, rushing and passing for nearly the same yardage per game. They convert 37% of their third downs and score 92% of the time when they are in the red zone. They are also one of the fewest penalized teams in the country, only committing 6 a game. Just for comparison, Alabama has the advantage in all offensive categories, except 3. LSU scores in the red zone at a better clip, has fewer penalties on average, and possesses the ball 2 more minutes than Alabama does on average. Every year, LSU has a great defense. This year is no exception. LSU has a very high number of takeaways, which is very concerning, including 14 interceptions, which is the best in the country. However, sacks, tackle for losses, and defensive touchdowns are lower than most would expect from an LSU defense. Again, for comparison, Alabama has the edge in all categories except takeaways, in which LSU has 2 more on the season. The kicking game is an area where LSU will have a big advantage in. The Tigers' Cole Tracy is the number 7 ranked kicker in the country in terms of percentage. He is 21 of 23 on the season, with a percentage of 91%. LSU's punting is also very dangerous in its own right. Ranked number 7 in the nation, Zach Von Rosenberg is averaging 46 yards per punt for the Tigers. And while LSU holds the advantage in the kicking and punting, Alabama has a decisive advantage in returning and coverage. Alabama has legitimate threats at both the kickoff and punt return position. Josh Jacobs and Jalen Waddle already have a punt return and kickoff return touchdown on the season. Starting on the offensive side of the ball, look no further than Ohio State grad transfer quarterback Joe Burrow. A lot has been made about the ability of the new quarterback to bring consistency and playmaking to a position that desperately needs it. But looking at some statistics, Burrow is middle of the road in almost every single passing category. For comparison's sake, looking at Danny Etling's stats through 8 games last season, Danny had better stats in every category except yardage, but had less attempts than Burrow. The only real difference statistically speaking is Burrow's ability to rush the ball, coming in third on the team with 250 rushing yards to go with 4 rushing touchdowns. Just like with defense, LSU always has a great running game. This year is no different. Unlike last year where LSU had a primary rusher in Darius Geis, this year Nick Brossette and Clyde Edwards-Helaire are platooning the position. Both guys are fast, physical, downhill runners with the ability to make huge plays in the running game. As far as receiving goes, 2 guys have my attention. First is obviously the Tigers' big play receiver, Justin Jefferson. To say that he is targeted a lot would be an understatement. He has double the receptions and double the receiving yards than the number 2 receiver. Another player to watch for is Foster Moreau. His stats aren't flashy, but I believe LSU will try to attack the middle of the field, which Foster will be a prime target. Rashard Lawrence is one of the best interior run defenders in the entire country. He doesn't fill the stat sheet, but will be a nightmare for Alabama's offensive line in the run game. Even though he will miss the opening half of the game for a controversial targeting penalty, Devin White is definitely a player to watch out for. Big, fast, athletic, instinctive, and a ball hawk, he is everything you would want in a middle linebacker. The LSU secondary is not only the best Alabama has played against this year, it is also one of the best in the nation. Grant Delpit, Greedy Williams, and John Battle have already combined for 10 interceptions on the season. One of the more intriguing players in this bunch is Grant Delpit. He has a game similar to Minkah Fitzpatrick, with his ability to do a multitude of things including rushing the passer. As usual, this game is another showcase of future NFL stars. According to ESPN's Todd McShay, 7 of the top 32 NFL prospects for next year's draft will be a part of Saturday's matchup. As far as my prediction to this game, I believe Alabama will win this game walking away. Not a blowout like we've seen all year, just a comfortable win. This is not a knock on LSU at all. Just after looking at the stats and knowing what Alabama has on offense, I just don't feel like LSU would stop Alabama an entire 60 minutes. My final score prediction is 35-14. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. What are your predictions on this game?
the snap, pressure, screen, yelled it, 30, 25.
Make a man miss.
Right. He's gonna go! He's gonna go! Touchdown, TJ